It's fine. Blake Snell to the Dodgers. Padres are going to lower payroll. Everything's fine. All right, Jonathan, with you on the wrap-up show. Obviously, we've known for a little bit of time here on Blake Snell. It's been a few days, but we'll react here fully on the wrap-up show on a Sunday night. The old Sunday night wrap-up show for you as December is here. We're a week away from the winter meetings, so this is going to be hopefully an important month for the Padres. There'll be some movement. Hopefully, Roki Sasaki sweepstakes are going to heat up, obviously in January as well. Plus, MLB trade rumors writing today about Luis Arraez. Can the Padres we've talked about this for weeks on end. MLB trade rumors asking the question we've asked, can the Padres afford to keep Luis Arraez? So John and Jim with you here on the wrap-up show. Make your way in. Whether you're here live or on replay, we have year-round content for Padres fans. We are here for you throughout the offseason and in-season as well. So subscribe, all right? Year-round content for Padres fans, for baseball fans. So please subscribe. Smash the like button for us. You can follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. I'm on Blue Sky at John Schaefer.
What?
If you want to support the channel, you can click the $sign below the chat box. We'll get to every super chat. If you have a question, comment, you just want to support our work, click the $sign below the chat box. If you want to become a member, click the join button down below. I'm not overly surprised by Snell. I'm just not, because we know how the Dodgers operate, but it is a bit of a blow. The only thought I was left with was, if you're signing Snell, is it an indicator on Sasaki, or are they so greedy they want it all that Snell and Sasaki, to them, they think they can get both? That was my only thought. If you get Snell, and they paid a handsome price to do it, do they know something about Sasaki that might tell them that he's going to land elsewhere? That was my only thought that I thought could be advantageous.
Yeah, I thought that too. I also thought, like, the ways that you're going to have to try and keep up, you're never going to fully keep up. You're never going to be neck and neck as far as offseason moves go. But the only way to try and keep up is you got to go out and get Roki Sasaki. That feels like a Sasaki or bust type of offseason, in my opinion, with the move that the Dodgers made, with Snell. They're going to get Glass now back. They're going to have Kershaw. They have, like, seemingly unlimited pitching. They're going to make another move. They're probably going to bring back Oscar Hernandez. They're probably going to bring in Willie Adames to be shortstop, even though they just signed Tommy Edman to a 5-year, $74 million deal. But it feels a little bit like you got to make this move. And if you don't make this move, what's the move that you're going to make to get over that Dodger hump? Not in the regular season. We're going to concede that. I mean, that's conceded until the foreseeable future, unless the Dodgers just get a million injuries to their team and they bottom out one year and you get lucky enough then that you can overtake the Dodgers just because of that simple thing alone. Is the Dodgers didn't win the division because they had a bunch of injuries. Like, that's kind of the only way you're winning this division. And that's probably not going to happen because they're deep as hell. And look what they did this last year. Lost a bunch of pitching, and they still won the division by like 5 or 6 games. So it's not happening. But you got to make some move. You can't just sit here and stand pat and lower payroll and be like, oh, yeah, we're going to give this guy and the organization a chance. Like, no, no. The fan base will not be happy with that, nor should they be. And that's why I think, going into this offseason without the Snell moves to the Dodgers, it felt like they got to get Roki Sasaki. Now it feels like even more so they got to get Roki Sasaki, in my opinion.
Completely agree. Spot on. And thank you, Vector53, for the first super of the night. He says, good to see you too well in these dark days. Listen, we have orchestrated this point, and I think it needs to be said for Padres fans that this is part of fandom. This is a tough stretch. I mean, the Padres were really good last year, but to lose the way they did to the Dodgers with the 24 scoreless innings and to have a chance to clinch it at home and not take advantage of it, to see the Dodgers then win the World Series for the first time in like 40 years, and then to see them go out and add like this with Blake Snell, and we know what Snell's capable of. I mean, listen, a lot of the 3 years he was here, we pulled our hair out. I got gray hair because of Blake Snell and Jones. I mean, Blake Snell gave us all some gray
lost hair because of Blake Snell.
But truth is, he's also damn good, and we saw the best of Blake Snell too. You saw some of the worst inconsistencies, health, not fully ramped up, 4-inning outings, but you also saw some of the best. Now, we never saw the brilliance in the postseason from Blake Snell that maybe he showed in 2020 with Tampa Bay, but you put him on the Dodgers. I mean, I can't spin it as a positive. Now, I could spin a positive if you land Roki Sasaki as a huge addition for the San Diego Padres. But I mean, the Dodgers rotation is going to be completely overhauled, Jim. I mean, if you put Ohtani in there for 20 starts and Snell in there for 30 starts and Dustin May or Tyler Glasnow in there for a combination of 50 starts, that thing's completely different.
Yeah.
It's kind of incredible for a team that just won the World Series.
Yeah. I was thinking I saw this point, and it was a very good point, because a lot of people were like, that much money for a guy that only gives you 5 innings, he's never going to pitch 200 innings and this and that, blah, blah. And I saw a point being made, and it was a really good one. They're not asking Blake Snell to go 200 innings for them.
Exactly.
They're not asking Blake Snell to give them 33 starts a season. They're asking them to give them like 25, right? And then be healthy for the postseason, which he has shown the last 4 or 5 years. He always starts out slow and he always ends really strong. Like that's a consistent with Blake Snell. And that's what the Dodgers paid him for. They could give a shit if he gives them 180 innings or wins a Cy Young. They don't care about that. What they care about is they have a dominant pitcher now for the postseason, which they're going for multiple championships from here on out. They are not settling with just one here. They are going to be trying to be a dynasty coming up here to win like 4 in a row, 3 in a row, whatever it is. And Blake Snell, they signed him for the postseason, not a regular season, which they, honestly, John, like, without Blake Snell, this team's still going to win 100 games.
Yeah, probably, or close to.
And so it's like the Dodgers got better than what they were, but they just got like their margin for error now is it's such a wide gap because they have so much that they could throw at you. And that's, if injuries do happen, which they will, they can overcome them because of the depth that they have. Ohtani, Snell, Glasnow, May, Kershaw will come back, Knack, Stone. And if they have a healthy rotation, guess what they can do? They can probably use a couple of those guys and trade them at the deadline for some really good pieces because they have a surplus of pitching in their organization.
And they just proved this postseason they don't need starters to go deep. Their bullpen is beyond serviceable. Their bullpen was elite. So, you get 4 scoreless from Blake Snell in a playoff game, and you turn it over to a good bullpen, and you have a formula that can win you games. HBBBV, thank you for the super chat. Guys, if you're here, subscribe. Here on Content for Baseball Fans. And also, appreciate your support. The super chats like HBBBV. Click the $ below the chat box. We'll get to all of them here tonight. Edmund La Jolla Legend might be a one-hit wonder. I think Tommy Edman's a good player. I think $74 million is a lot of money. But if money's no object, like it isn't for Los Angeles and it is for San Diego, I think he's a nice piece. Again, like to your point, I mean, if Blake Snell's not the difference between winning 100 games or not, nor is Tommy Edman, but you get into important series or moments in games in postseasons where he can play multiple positions and can help you in a variety of ways. They've typically taken advantage of that type of player. That's where I think AJ Preller did a nice job this past year. He had guys contribute in a variety of ways. The Dodgers seemingly have always had that type of player. Is $74 million a lot of money? For the Padres, it is. For LA, apparently it's not.
And this is what Tommy Edman's contract does now. If I'm Luis Arraez, like what? Yeah. I mean, if you're a super utility guy in the big leagues, I can't think of any off the top of my head right now. But you're like,
like the Chris Taylor of 5 years ago.
Right. Yeah. The Ben Zobrist of
Ben Zobrist is the perfect one. Yeah.
Right. Hey, the top utility guy in the market is getting almost 15 million per. Luis Arraez is not a utility man, but you kind of put him with if Tommy Edman's getting that much, Luis Arraez is going to want more than that. And it's a bummer because, like you said, the Dodgers can go out and spend that money. They can get the player to defer that money because they can afford to do that because they're making billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars because their TV deal and endorsements and because they win. So they can afford to pay that much deferred money down the line. And the Padres can't. I see a lot of people, like we laugh at the deferred money. It's insane. Like the 62 million of the 182 million contract for Snell's deferred.
Yep.
And people are like, well, why didn't the Padres do that? Well, it has, one, the Dodgers can do that because, like I just said, they can afford that down the line. They have, Brinks trucks after Brinks trucks after Brinks trucks rolling into Dodger Stadium for the foreseeable future. They are not going to be money strapped anytime soon. So they can afford to do that. Padres, they can't afford to do that. So they can't even go to like a player and be like, hey, we'll give you a $200 million contract. But would you be willing to defer 150 of that? Like, because they can't have a TV deal. They don't have that money in 20 years or 10 years to be like, oh, we're paying this guy this much. How much million? I mean, the Dodgers are paying $1 billion in deferrals. They can afford to do that. No other team can. No other team can.
Really good segue, by the way, because I think that the real meat and potatoes of the Padres offseason right now that we touched on the day the season ended, which is how do you maintain the roster but maintain the payroll? And so, well, what are you talking about? Like, if you're maintaining payroll, can't you just bring the important pieces back? No, because of something you just said. Because if Tommy Edman's making $15 million a year, you better damn well believe so is Luis Arraez moving forward. So, like at MLB Trade Rumors today, and I thought it was a really good piece, they write that the Padres are expected to maintain a payroll level from 2024. Let's assume that to be accurate, as in it doesn't go down, but it doesn't go up. Let's assume they maintain their payroll level from 2024. That means that they likely have to pare down $40 million this winter. Why? Because players are going to make more money, right? King in arbitration. Arraez in arbitration. Give me a Profar, whatever he would cost from 1 million to 10. That's a minimum.
Cease in arbitration.
So the point is, if you want to maintain some of those pieces, as that price goes up, you need to find money elsewhere. If the price of eggs goes from $2 to $3, but you only have $2, where are you going to save the 100 cents? That's the same thing with the Padres. As the price of doing business goes up, it sounds good in theory, like, hey, they'll maintain their payroll. And their payroll was, top 15 payroll in baseball. Maintaining, okay. But maintaining is not going to be good enough. These players outperformed. And the Ceases and the Arises and the Kings and the Profars all got more expensive. So how do you do it? And where they speculated, and I've speculated on this a ton, because I think it's a realistic possibility, I really do. And I'm not saying I'm a proponent of it or I'm in favor of it. I think one of the ways in which they could save real money is by trading Luis Arraez, who's going to make $15 million next year. You can axe it. By trading him, you get pieces back in return. You've saved $15 million on your major league payroll, and you've dealt with half of your issues. If you got to save $40 million, well, there's 15 right there. It's not Juan Soto where it's one fell swoop, 30 million, you've saved it. But you can make back half of it with Luis Arraez. Do I like it? I don't. I think Luis Arraez is a player that you want on a team that's capable of reaching the postseason. There's a million reasons as to why we both think that. But you also have to ask yourself, and Kevin Acee told us this the day the season ended, the Padres don't expect to pay Luis Arraez, I forget what the number said, 13, 14, 15, $16 million next year. And if that is the number, they'll have a decision to make.
If the trade-off is we can sign Michael King, but it's going to cost us Luis Arraez, I make that trade-off every day.
So for a long-term King deal, you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah.
Like if this helps us get a King deal done. But if that ain't happening, if they have to trade Luis Arraez and they still can't sign Michael King long-term or Dylan Cease long-term, then that's a problem. You have to show me the gain of trading Luis Arraez other than just we need to save money because, a lot of these players, arbitration money, we need to bring in some free agents for this season. We need that money there. Like, no, this has to be shown in a long-term type of investment if you're trading away one of the best hitters in the game because you can't pay him $15 million a year. Right. You got to show me what the upside of that is other than you're trying to save a couple bucks for this year's team.
Listen, if it's sheer dollars, to your point, Edman to the Dodgers, they have unlimited dollars.
Right.
But to the Padres, everything is about the financial constraint. It's like you and I mean, we look at how much money's in our bank account at the end of the month, and we're like, can we afford to buy something? And we're like, No, we
No.
can't get the couch this month because we don't have the $900 for the couch. It's a simple equation where maybe our parents or someone that's got money in the bank or say it's a $900 couch, just do it. We have the money in the bank. The Padres are more. I'm not saying the Padres are incredibly handcuffed and they're the Oakland A's. They're not.
No.
And they have some advantages. Like most organizations, there's pros and cons to how you do business. But again, there's a couple like the Yankees and the Dodgers and maybe the Red Sox at times and maybe the Padres even in like 2021 or 2022. They created their own rules and they had some advantages as a result of that. Padres got to play by the rules now. The rules right now are we don't want to go over the luxury tax threshold. Now, is that going to change? Will AJ Preller talk on it in 1 week at the winter meetings? Will that be a talking point? He's going to meet with the media multiple times. It will absolutely be asked, are you prepared to go over the luxury tax? Is there a budget number? He'll beat around the bush. You're not going to get anything specific from him. But that to me is the story. If you're not going over the number, Jim, and so how do you do it if it's not Arraez? Because I'm with you. I want to keep Arraez. Let's say Arraez stays and they lock him up and it's a good deal. It's 4 years, it's $60 million. It's a nice deal. It's reasonable. He's a 300 hitter. He's here. What do you do to pare down? I mean, you don't want to trade Michael King or Dylan Cease.
No. But I don't want them to trade those two, but it's going to be a conversation this season if the Padres aren't doing well and the trade deadline comes up. You got two guys that are going to be free agents next year. Yep. You can get a lot for starting pitching at the deadline. Like that's going to be a real conversation if they are 6 games back of a playoff spot at the deadline.
Right. Correct.
And so you're banking on that you are going to be good this year. So those conversations don't come up if you can't lock up King or you can't lock up Dylan Cease. So where do you go from there if you're not going to trade away those 2 pitchers this offseason to save some money and help you for this season to maybe build some more whatever? I mean, nothing's easy. Like if we're living in a perfect world, obviously Bogarts is not here, but we're not. And if you're living in a perfect world where you can trade Jake Cronenworth with a prospect somewhere, you would, but I doubt anyone's going to want Jake Cronenworth under that contract.
Right.
So that's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's like okay, I can save you. I would say, well, I'm going to save you $10 million by not re-signing Jurickson Profar, but I'm not. I'm saving you $1 million. It's like,
yeah, you're not saving that much money.
That's what it costs them. You're just saving additional spending, but you're not making anything back. Same thing with Arraez a little bit. They paid him nothing last year because Miami took on the salary. Now all of a sudden you're going from nothing to, even if you paid him 12, that's 12 million additional because you paid him nothing a year ago. So I mean, it's an interesting conversation. Now, is Arraez the difference between making the postseason or not? I don't know. I don't know if it's as clear as day as that. I mean, they had Juan Soto and didn't make the postseason, but I would argue that if it came down to Arraez, to your point, Arraez, King, Cease, it's like, it's the Sophie's Choice game. I'm keeping Cease and King in that hypothetical because starting pitching is more valuable. That's not a knock on Luis Arraez at all, but the starting pitching is going to be more valuable. So that's kind of where I come at it from.
And, you kind of get a little bit of a sense of maybe how things are going to go this offseason because, where is it here? The Padres did make a move, John. Did you see this move they made? On Christmas, actually.
Wait, on Christmas?
They signed Oscar Gonzalez to a minor league deal.
Christmas hasn't even happened, so that's
sorry.
Amazing.
Thanksgiving. My bad. What did I say? Christmas?
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving, Preller made a move. Padres signed outfielder Oscar Gonzalez to a minor league deal. Gonzalez is 27 years old. Made his major league debut in 2022. That year, he hit 11 home runs in 91 games.
Oh, it's on.
He slashed a where is it? He slashed a 296, 327, 461 with a 123 WRC plus, John.
Oh, then problem solved.
He became a fan favorite by using the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song as his walk-up music.
So he's like Ohtani.
Yeah, and he hit a walk-off series clinching home run to break a scoreless tie in the bottom of the 15th inning against the Rays in the wild card round that year.
Wow.
But, John, his performance dipped in 2023. His strikeout rate climbed, and he slashed at 214, 239, and a 312 for a WRC plus of 48.
Yeah, that's horrific, which is absolutely horrific.
He can turn
I
into
don't think
Profar,
that's
man. What are you talking
I don't
about?
think that's solving any of the issues. JD Gotcha, thanks, man, for your support of the channel, guys. If you're here, subscribe. And if you're here, thank you for the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box, like JD Gotcha, loyal viewer of the channel. He says he can't believe that Scott Boras okayed Snell's deferrals. I can, and here's why. Blake Snell just signed a short-term deal 365 days ago. He just quadrupled up. That, you know what, if there's some caveats in there, who the hell cares?
Yeah.
He just went from, 30 million guaranteed, which is all he got, that 2-year deal. I mean, okay, he walks away with whatever, 30, good money, but it's only 30 as opposed to this big lump sum that's ultimately guaranteed. Yes, it's over a longer period of time. Money's money. He's going to get it. What's the overall number? What was the Snell number?
182.
180?
182.
That's a huge number. From 30 guaranteed to 180 guaranteed is a massive win for Scott Boras. I don't care when the money comes. And for Blake Snell, but even more so for his representation. That's not a comparable deal. And if it comes with caveats, so be it. I mean, if I can take my salary sixfold, I don't care what the caveats are, or guarantee my revenue, future earnings sixfold.
So he got 62 of that deferred. He also got, I think, 50 something million signing bonus, I think.
Jesus.
So, like, I'll use this analogy. If I need to ask someone to borrow some money, right? Like, John, I know you're good for it. Like, hey, can I get 20? I'll pay. Like, or if you ask me,
no, I don't know if you're good for it.
No, yeah, you asked me, hey Jim, can I borrow 20? I'll pay you back later. Yeah, sure. I know you're good for it. But if I ask if you ask somebody that you know doesn't have a lot of money, they're very fidgety with their money and this and that, you're not going to go to them and be like, hey, can I borrow a 20 for you, or can you borrow 20, or whatever the case may be? Because the thing is, the Dodgers are good for that. The Padres and all these other teams, a little dicey because there's not a lot of money that they can be like, yeah, sure, we're good for 60 million down the road. Like, no,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%. No, 100%. I mean, yeah, I mean, they have the luxury of spending power. It doesn't always work. There have been teams that have spent. I look at college athletics now. There's teams that overspend in NIL. It doesn't always work. No. Dodgers, it hasn't always worked. They've had good teams. They haven't won at the level that they won at this past year. But again, you win, and then you couple it with spending, and it's concerning when you're not that team. JD Gaucho, thank you again. He says, Boras is a jackass, but I also 100% believe him with his comments on Soto and Seidler. Soto's a Padre the rest of his career if Peter had lived. I mean, that's how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop conversation? I mean, we'll never know. But, I mean, it would be kind of interesting if Boras was not being truthful. I mean, I don't know if it's 100% truthful, but we'll never know, Jim. I mean, we have no idea what the organization would look like if Peter Seidler was fully healthy right now and was going to run this organization for the next 12 years.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he just says F it and just spends a bunch of money without, listening to people being like, dude, Peter probably should hold off on this, which kind of feels like the Xander contract, in my opinion. Like, looking back on things, it kind of feels like this was a Peter thing where there's maybe some in the organization that said, look, I don't know about this one. This is going to burn us here in the future. Yet Peter wanted desperately a World Series title more than anybody in this town. That offseason, he went after Judge, they went after Turner, and they landed on Bogarts. And it kind of makes you think, like, if he did not go out and kind of splurge, try to, get a World Series as fast as possible, where would this team be right now, and probably how better off they would be financially, and as building a team, how better off they would be if they didn't have that, contract weighing them down for the foreseeable future. We'll never know.
Yeah, which then goes to James' point of, like, too bad Peter couldn't have locked up Soto before he left us. But, I don't think the fan base actually agrees with that. I think in today's world, with Soto on the other side of his time in San Diego, I think if you ask 10 Padres fans, 7 or 8 of them would say they're better without him. Again, I don't know how you'd say it, but there's a lot of people that believe, and some of it's accurate. I mean, they played very well in 2024 without Juan Soto. So, like, were there pros of keeping Juan Soto long term? Yeah. Like, I believe if you get this guy for 10 years, there's going to be some magical years in there, and hopefully that leads to overall success. But then again, we did watch firsthand. 2022 wasn't a perfectly straight line with Soto in the regular season. 2023 certainly wasn't, although he did produce individually in 2023. So it's like you could argue it both ways. I think Juan Soto obviously makes teams a lot better, but I don't know if all Padres fans agree with that assessment, especially on the other side with him no longer here. You know?
Yeah, I never, ever will believe for 1 second that Juan Soto was going to sign an extension before he hit free agency. No fucking chance.
Right.
Now, would the Padres have been in on Juan Soto? Yeah, I think they would have been if Peter were still alive. But, and I think, honestly, if Peter was still alive, they don't trade Juan Soto. I don't. They said that was the plan all along. I don't know about that. So, yeah, they might have been in on him, but there is, I think, less than a 1% chance, which means it would be 0, that Juan Soto doesn't hit free agency. Like, no.
I agree with you. I mean, there's no way this guy would hit free agency with the New York Yankees, but wouldn't with the San Diego Padres. The Yankees have all the resources where you could just sign him long term before. No, and he wouldn't even allow that to happen. So
no.
I completely agree. We'll get back to the conversation in a moment. Again, if you're here, please subscribe. You're on content for Padres and baseball fans. We're here in the offseason, in the season as well for you. So if you have not subscribed, please do that for us here tonight. Also, we need to thank our title sponsor on the wrap-up show. We can't do it without the support of Mark Nimitz, who is an amazing insurance agent. You can take that from us. He's been with the channel for the better part of 4 years, 3.5 years since we launched the channel. We never get the channel off the ground without Mark. He's a lifelong Padres fan, a native San Diegan, and a huge supporter of our work. And he's a great insurance agent. We know it because we do business with him. I've got homeowners and life and earthquake insurance with Mark. You can as well. He does auto. He does home, he does renters, he does life. His website's on the screen. Click the link in the description down below. Get to his website, get free quotes online. Call Mark. He'll talk to you about the Padres. I had to file a claim a couple of years ago. He took care of everything. Saved my family so much time and money. He is always there if you need him. I lost my license like 2 weeks ago. I called Mark. I'm like, what's my license number? He somehow had it. He's replied to emails that I've sent him when he's in Hawaii or on a plane to Hawaii. So he's always going to be there for you. If you have any insurance need, if you support this channel, get in contact with our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. Click that link in the description down below.
Yep. All his information is there on the ticker. mnimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the wrap-up show sent you.
The story of the offseason is Roki Sasaki for the Padres. There'll be other huge baseball storylines, but they're not in on Blake Snell. They're not in on Corbin Burns. They're not in on Juan Soto. So the story of the offseason locally is Roki Sasaki. Is it Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown? We'll find out in 6 weeks. Like, are the Padres going to land him or not? Or is he going to end up with the Dodgers, gosh forbid, or elsewhere, which is always a possibility. But that's the story right now. And what I've spun in my head, what I've weaved together, is that Snell to the Dodgers does not close the door on Sasaki to the Padres. I don't know if it closed the door on Sasaki to the Dodgers. I'd like to think it does. I don't think it fully does, but that's the tale I'm telling myself, Jim, that Sasaki to the Padres remains a distinct possibility, and hopefully we'll learn more in the days ahead. Maybe even at the winter meetings, just get some inklings of what this player is thinking as the posting process is about to get started.
So the thing with Blake Snell and the Dodgers, it's like, I'm trying to link into. So it's like you're in first place, you're still in first place after this move. Like, you didn't move anywhere. You're like, yeah, you got a little further from everybody, but you're already very far from everybody in the first place. So, like, you don't sign them, you're not moving. You sign them, you move a little up. Like, there's no real big jump that the Dodgers are making here. They're just widening their margin for error.
Sure.
It's all the other teams you got to worry about now. Like, the Phillies, reports are that they are looking to make a massive splash this offseason. They have talked with Juan Soto. They, are going to be in on Roki Sasaki, I would presume. They're going to be on Corbin Burns, I'd presume. They're looking to make a splash in free agency or via trade because their season ended in a massive disappointment to the Mets. Mets are ready to spend big. They're willing to spend every last dollar to get Juan Soto there. Okay. You can't, like, the dream scenario here for the Padres is Juan Soto stays in the American League, goes back to the Yankees. All right. The Phillies strike out on all the moves that they're trying to make. You get Roki Sasaki, uh, you have Pete Alonso go somewhere in the American League. You have Corbin Burns go back to like the Orioles or whatever. Like all these top free agents, you have them go far away from the National League as possible. And you land with Roki Sasaki. You make a couple other moves. Hey, maybe you re-sign Jerkson Profar. You make a couple trades. You shore up your outfield and your bullpen, and hopefully some guys that you get off the scrap heap turn into like Donovan Solano and David Peralta this year. Like that's what you want. The last thing you want is like, holy shit, Juan Soto to the Mets. Holy shit, Corbin Burns to the Phillies. Holy shit, Roki Sasaki to the Braves. You know what I mean? Like that is a way bigger disaster than Roki Sasaki going to the Dodgers and Juan Soto going to the Dodgers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's a fair point. It really is, and some of it though, like we always say, it's like some of it's out of your control. Like what the Dodgers are doing. Let's just take it hyper local because it is relevant, and you feel it. We felt it last offseason. Like, hold on, Ohtani, Yamamoto, Hernandez. Like, how can you compete with that? And you get in your head. It's like you watch someone run next to you on the treadmill. Like, how are they going like 9 miles per hour when I'm going like 6? Like. But it's like you can't really concern yourself with it. And yeah, the Dodgers did do what they did last offseason. And the truth is the Padres had a good season even with that happening. Now, Dodgers ended up in the World Series. But it's like you can't control if the Dodgers resign Teoscar Hernandez. We can't control if Blake Snell goes there. The Padres are going to have to come up with a plan that allows them to at least be viable and give themselves a shot to get back to where they were. From there, take your chances. Can you get to 90 wins? Can you get into the postseason, and can you match up again with LA? It's probably harder in a matchup with LA in 2025, but it is still like what we've heard from who comes on with us all the time from MLB Network Radio. It's like there's still a variance in postseason series. Yeah, Mike Farron is like there's a variance. Like the better team's winning like 60% of the time, not 90%. So get there and then pull an upset.
And Preller talked a little bit about it during his I guess end of year press conference / Zoom meeting. Why they don't do a press conference is beyond me, but anyway. And it was a little scary hearing him say like they expect Xander to have an all-star season next year. That to me tells me that they're going to be relying on the guys that they already have under contract to perform because
Why are you muted?
Can you hear me?
I can. You started muting yourself like 5 seconds ago.
Stupid fucking thing, dude.
What is it? Go buy the new freaking Shure microphone for Christmas. Here, Aaron, put it under the tree. What is it?
Can you hear me?
What? Yeah, we can hear you. What's the problem? What is the problem? Jim is an idiot. Can we all agree on that? We could hear you, you moron. Why did you leave? He's an idiot. Let me get to one of these supers. We could hear you. Why are you leaving? Switch sides.
Because I couldn't hear you.
Oh, that's a problem. Hold on. Let me get to the super. HBBBVPPPPPJJJJ.
I was making a good point too. Whatever. Fuck it.
We'll get to it in a second. He says, hopefully Manny and Xander have a big year.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, that's this team is banking on just the guys they have to have really big seasons. Xander to be an all-star, Manny to be an all-star,
right?
Tatis to stay healthy, Merrill to replicate what he did this past year, King and Cease and Darvish to all stay healthy and put up borderline all-star seasons. Robert Suarez to be a damn near 40 save guy, Jason Adam to be a stud. That's what they're banking on. If they get all that, yeah, 90 wins is there. But that's easier said
They're
than
asking a
done.
good amount. I mean, I think we were asking a lot of them even heading into this year, like, hey, if Profar hits, if Michael King makes 30 starts, if Matt Waldron is an effective starter, yada, yada, yada. I mean, every team has questions. Not every. Most teams have questions. The Padres are included. They will have questions as well.
I like Matt Waldron, but the last thing I'll ever do is talk about Matt Waldron's fucking spin rate to you guys, because that will put everybody to sleep.
Should we look it up? It's not very fast because he throws knuckleballs.
I like Matt Waldron. I could give two fucks about his goddamn spin rate. Like, give me a break. Stop talking about his spin rate like it's this magical elixir to why the Padres are going to be amazing next year. God, most ear bleeding thing I ever heard in my entire life is Matt Waldron's spin rate talk.
If you want it, I just put it in the chat. There's a link to his Baseball Savant.
God.
Okay. All right. I want to get back to the conversation in a moment, but the holidays are here. And if you haven't picked up a Mova Globe,
what are you doing?
What?
Like, if you haven't picked up a Mova Globe, what are you doing?
I thought you were like yelling at me. If you haven't picked up a Mova Globe, now is the time. Officially licensed for all 30 teams, including the Padres. And then they have actual globes of the world, Earth, the planet.
That's a good one. I like it.
Jim's got the Padres globe behind him. I've got the Earth globe right here. You got to get to the website and check them out. You'll get 10% off this holiday season by using promo code PWS10, Padres Wrap-Up Show 10, PWS10. Click the link in the description down below. Get 10% off. These spin automatically with artificial or natural light, okay? They'll spin all day long in sunlight. There are no batteries. There are no wires. This technology invented in North County, San Diego, Cardiff by the Sea, San Diego company. You can pick up a Padres Mova Globe. You can pick up any of the 30 major league teams, all officially licensed, plus so many other globes by clicking the link at the description down below. It's an amazing holiday gift. Okay. It really is for a baseball fan in your life. They're great keepsakes. They're great for desks. Your kids will love them. My son, my 5-year-old Jones, loves it. So pick one up. Click the link in the description down below. It's a great holiday gift idea. Get 10% off with promo code PWS10. That's PWS10.
PWS 10. There we go. Get a Mova Globe today. Holidays are coming up. It's a great gift for a family member, especially a diehard Padres fan, to get them a Padres Mova Globe for like Christmas. That would be awesome. So PWS10, use our promo code. Also, I think tomorrow's Cyber Monday, so be on the lookout for deals there as well. So pick up one today.
Yes. Dude, I love, I just want to buy things.
I know.
Like this time of year, I'm just
did you buy anything on Black Friday or no?
I've bought some things, but I don't know what, which I also enjoy. Like things just arrive in the mail. Like, what I buy? Because I just I just start going like rabid.
It's tough because I want to buy things, but I just don't know what to get. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
it's so fun buying things.
It's fun, but at the same time, you're like,
it's also money.
Right. Like, what do I want to buy? You're almost like, you feel like obligated almost a little bit because it's Black Friday.
It's like 30% off. Like I have to 40.
Yeah, I got to buy it. Yeah.
I think I bought, I bought some clothing. I think I'm going to buy some hats tomorrow.
Nice.
Because I think Billion has a hat sale tomorrow.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So, you know me. I love hats.
It's cute.
It's very cute. There was something else we're going to touch on related to the off season. Again, winter meetings are a week away. And we'll have you covered. San Diego Sports 760, John and Jim wrap-up show, because there'll be news. If nothing else, there'll be news out of the winter meetings. Hopefully it involves San Diego to some extent. I mean, it's been quiet. Like, what's the big move so far? I was off. I've been off for like a month and a half. But what was the big move? The $900,000.
It's Oscar Gonzalez, dude.
No, but what was the major league? Tyler Wade.
Yeah, Tyler Wade.
I mean, that's how you know it's like you're like, it's been a long, dark offseason when your move is Tyler Wade and their move is Blake Snell.
Yeah, I mean, now to be fair, not a lot of teams have made moves. The Dodgers are really the only teams that have made any moves of significance. Frankie Montas signed tonight with the Mets, I think it was.
Was it? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he signed with the Mets tonight for a 2-year, $34 million contract.
Okay.
Through 150 innings with a 4.84 ERA. That is what? Give me the breakdown. 34 divided by 2 is
17.
17. So a middle of the road starting pitcher is not going to be cheap at all.
Yep. That's
Like
right.
not cheap at all. That's why they can't trade Cease or King. They just can't. They expect to compete next year. And signing a guy on the free agent market is going to be, cost effective either. And other than that, there's really nothing that happened so far this offseason.
Who's the dude, Jim, that covers Korean baseball? What's his name on Twitter? You know what I'm talking about. He's like kind of the guy that covers Korean baseball.
Joseph Kim.
I don't know how much of this is valid.
No, I talked about this on John and Jim on those 4 hours of last week.
You were able to fit it into the 4 hours?
I fit it in, yeah. And it was just this. Guys like him and other, farm engaging fake reporters.
Is it fake?
I don't know. He's gotten some stuff right.
Yeah.
Just maybe because he's just like fallen into it, and a lot of stuff wrong. Because the one thing he said last week was that Sasaki's interested in the Padres, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna really believe any of this, honestly, until there's only 3 people that I'm going to take as gospel this offseason for Padres news, and that's Kevin, Dennis, and Jeff.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I'll talk about the rumors. I love me a good rumor, right? I will talk about the stuff that's said by Jim Bowden or Bob Nightingale, who gets everything wrong and just copies everybody else's reports. I will talk about Ken Rosenthal, what he thinks. Like, I'll talk all about all of that. But by no means am I taking it as like 100% gospel that it's happening until
the reason
Dennis
I bring
or
it
Kevin
up
or Jeff says it.
So he said November 25th, almost done deal between the Giants and Ha-Seong Kim. Wait for the announcement. Okay. Yeah. 5 days later, he said source done deal between the Giants and Kim. Now, it's not a done deal because in Major League Baseball, I mean, they'd make the announcement, presumably. I mean, there are physicals. It is a weekend. It is the holiday. So if there's ever a time where it actually could take a day or so, okay, I could make that argument.
Here's the thing
about I mean, I don't know how much I'm buying it. Although I think some of it makes sense. But here's the other thing he tweeted out November 25th. I'm sure you talked about it in your 10-hour show. Is he tweeted out Sasaki is interested in San Diego, heard directly.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I was saying. Like, yeah. I mean,
I don't like how do you hear directly? You cover Korean baseball and you've heard from Roki Sasaki in Japan.
There'll be some people out there, and there'll be a lot of fans probably looking at that because Twitter is a site of misinformation galore. Yeah. And people will say like, "Oh my God, he's interested in the Padres," and I'll see it on some stupid Facebook chats or whatever. Yeah, I'll just roll my eyes because you guys, this is all part of the game, which is farm engaging, which is to put stuff out there for likes and retweets and clicks, and like we follow that trap a lot, but we never go out and be like, he's interested in the Padres. Like it's a lot of like. Is Sasaki interested in the Padres, or what's going on with Blake Snell and what's going on with the Padres? Updates on Roki's. Like, it's just all. It's just be very hesitant with anything you see out there, and until Dennis talks about it, or Kevin or Jeff talks about it, and Jeff only reports stuff when it's actually done, then just take it for what it is, which is just a bunch of probably fake stuff. Now, look, if Ha-Seong Kim does go to the Giants. I mean, let's be truthful here. Your son could have guessed that was going to be the move this offseason, like 3 months ago. Like, give me a break. Everybody thought that Ha-Seong Kim's going to the Giants,
and he's going to use it like, "Oh, I told you first." Like, no, you didn't, dude.
Like, stop.
It's the most obvious possibility. Now, I don't know if that means it's inevitable or not. I mean, I'm sure there's another team that could get in on him. But if it actually is, what's the report? Like 4 years, 80?
I have no idea because I didn't see anything. And like this from James, like I saw this, James, and it's ridiculous and it's stupid and don't believe it.
I saw that too.
The dumbest shit ever. Like, give me a fucking break, dude.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like Omar heard Ohtani's on a plane to Toronto. Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, like Joel said, maybe Sasaki does announce his decision on Instagram. That a lot of news gets broken that way. Blake Snell. Again, there's stuff you've heard this since day one. There's a secret handshake agreement. Right. And then the agent said, I'm offended by the idea of such a thing. I mean, we'll know in due time is the point. It's like, it's better to be right than first.
Oh, for sure.
And that's the issue here in this space. Like you said, it's about engagement. It's about like whatever that is, clout. But it's all stupid. I mean,
Yeah, clicks and
yeah,
retweets.
clicks. For us, it's like we just want to react to it. There's not going to be a time, probably. I mean,
No,
that I'm not going to come on and be like Roki Sasaki to the Padres. Like that's ridiculous. I
no,
mean, that's just not. It's not going to happen.
no.
And what I say,
All of our shit that gets retweeted is like opinions.
yeah,
You know what I
reaction.
mean?
Yeah,
Reaction
exactly.
and stuff. Not like I heard from somebody, right?
Right, exactly. Just trying to think if there's anything else of significance that's played out. Um, Not really. I mean, unfortunately, like we just said, it's a lot of reaction. I feel like we're doing a lot of reaction to Dodgers moves, which sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's honestly been since last offseason. Oh, Otani. Oh, Yamamoto. Oh, Snell. Like, I don't know. I mean, was last offseason for the Padres quiet? I don't know if quiet's the right word. I mean, they traded
No,
Juan
they
Soto.
wasn't. It was
Yeah.
only quiet after that, but it was definitely they were in the middle of
Oh, dude,
everything.
it was a big talking point, right? At the winter meetings.
Huge.
So
I remember looking back, we had shows. I mean, just for like a month straight was update on Juan Soto, like all that stuff.
yeah,
And
like this offseason's like update on Roki Sasaki. So I don't know what's gonna happen at the winter meetings. But I'd be shocked if it was a quote unquote quiet offseason for the Padres. I don't think there's such a thing with Preller. Really. I don't think he wants it to be quiet. I think they'll, whether it's trades or free agency or I don't think it'll be quiet. Maybe compared to the Dodgers.
this is how fucking slow last week was, dude. I spent, and James put it in the chat, I spent like 2 segments talking about Nolan Arenado and how ridiculous it would be if the Padres traded for him. And how weird it would be to have him throwing to first base, Machado throwing to Arenado first.
Where was that discussed other than John and Jim? Like, where's that even stem from?
MLB trade rumors.
Okay.
Katie Wu put out
Yeah.
a piece saying that Nolan Arenado is willing to move to first base if he were to be traded. And then in the piece, in MLB trade rumors, they mentioned like the Padres could be a fit. And
Okay.
I'm like, no, the money doesn't work. He's old.
He's old.
It would be hilarious to watch Machado throw into Arenado. Like, it would be absolutely the most ironic thing of all time. But it'd also be not a good move.
No, it's like, right, you got to make like smart decisions. This isn't about putting together a name roster. Like they've put together names on a roster.
It's not.
It's about putting, honestly, if something's under the radar, I'm all for it. I mean, how many people are really overly familiar with Michael King's possibilities or potential? Like, we didn't know it until we knew it, until we saw it with our own eyes.
You know how you get Crochet and Luis Robert Jr. faulty sport? You trade either Leo DeVries or Ethan Salas, or maybe both. So that's how you get those 2 players.
Yeah, the Crochet conversation was a big one last July, obviously, for Padres fans.
Like the Phillies could, like, that's another thing too, is the Phillies or the Mets or someone else in the National League could trade for Garrett Crochet. You know, so you know that's why the Padres, like, it is so imperative to make this move by making the move for Roki Sasaki. And it's a lot to it. It doesn't really, it's not really up to them, which is the hard part. It's up to Sasaki. Like, he makes the final call here. You can't outbid people. You can't, you just have to like convince him to choose you. And that's going to be tough. But hopefully they put all their resources into trying to do this, because if they don't get
why
him,
not?
I mean, it's better, man.
Yeah, I mean, why not? We'll get back to the conversation, guys. If you have not yet signed up for Underdog Fantasy, this is an amazing time of the year to do it. You're going to get a 50% deposit match right now by using promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. Click the link in the description down below. They'll give you a gimme first pick. What's a gimme first pick? Like higher than a half passing attempt from Lamar Jackson, for example, or higher than a half point scored from Steph Curry in his next Warriors game, or higher than, a half passing yard from, or higher than a half rushing yard from Ashton Genty in the Mountain West Championship game. They're giving that to you. I mean, they're giving you a pick 'em. They're giving you a 50% deposit match. What do you got?
What if they gave a higher than a half total rushing yards for Christian McCaffrey? You'd lose that one.
No, he had like 60 yards in the first quarter before he died.
But not for the rest of the season, dude.
True. He'll never touch the ball ever again in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
But like you see it on screen, all you got to do is simple higher or lower. You get 2 right and you win, and they're giving you 1 right now. So use promo code PADSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. Get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. Then you can win up to 1,000 times your money in a single night. Think about that. 1,000 times your money. Make a $10 wager. You can win 10 grand. And so on and so forth. So use the promo code. Take advantage right now. The Give Me First Pick, promo code PADSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. I could have told you that Purdy was going to throw for lower than 5 yards or whatever he threw for tonight, and the Bills would throw for more than 23 inches of snow or whatever snow they had tonight.
Yeah.
Can you imagine living in Buffalo?
No, it looks like the most awful place in the entire planet to live.
Man, when it snows, it can snow for months.
Like, if anybody willingly lives in Buffalo,
no, I mean,
you're a psycho.
You might have family. I mean, dude, like roofs cave in. It'll snow like 6 feet. Lake effect. It's crazy.
That's what I mean. If you willingly live in Buffalo, like if you move from somewhere and you willingly say, I'm going to live in Buffalo, New York, you're a moron.
Wouldn't it? I've had this conversation with Chris. I'm like, what if what if me and Jim both played in the NFL? We get drafted. Okay, hear me out. We're both like second round picks. I go 55th overall to the Bills, and you go 56th overall to the Dolphins. Think about how different that is for like your lifestyle for your significant other. You live in Miami, or you live in Buffalo.
Which is the thing. I wouldn't live there during the off season.
Yeah, but it's still a long year.
It's a long year.
Camp starts in July. It goes to January. Half the year you're there. So your wife's going to be there.
Yeah. I mean, rich people have 2 houses. You get a house for the season and a house for the off season and somewhere nice.
You think Aaron's going to like Buffalo for 6 months? When she's clearing off her car every 2 seconds?
If we're rich, it doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. There's a lot of rich people in the NFL that have problems. But
probably,
I get the point.
Yeah. If I'm Josh Allen, I'm not having a problem.
No, because he did play Wyoming, which is a good point. And he is rich. And
he just got engaged to Haley Seinfeld.
Who is that again? Like in terms
she's an actress.
Actress. Okay. Well, that's great. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I'm happy that your Niners beat the shit out of the Niners. Oh, they're dude. They're so done, dude.
5-7. What happened?
Like my wish is honestly,
it's over.
Purdy just plays decent the rest of the year. They lose out.
They sign him to a reasonable deal.
No, top 8 draft pick. You have a last place schedule next season.
Right.
And you don't sign Purdy to $60 million per. Yes, the Bumblebee girl.
Who's the Bumblebee what?
She starred in the movie Bumblebee.
What's her name?
Haley Seinfeld. And she also was in the Hawkeye show.
And she's engaged to Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Where'd they meet?
Tinder? I don't know.
Interesting. She's from LA. You think she's thrilled about living in Buffalo?
She ain't living in Buffalo, you moron.
She's not.
You know what she's doing? She's going to Buffalo to watch these games and then flying on a jet back to LA to her house.
So like Taylor Swift.
That's the thing about being rich. You can just fly on a jet.
Oh, was he? He was at Petco, wasn't he? HBBBV. Thank you. Yeah. Josh Allen, 2022 Padres postseason fan with Hoffman.
Yeah, Mr. Honorary Padre fan.
Am I wrong? This could be wrong. Someone would have to Google this. I think he had 2 Division I offers. It was San Diego State and Wyoming.
Oh, must be nice.
Yeah, because it would have been nice. I think that's right. I could be wrong. Oh, this is great. Look what Steven said. They met at Windmill Farms. The college area's natural grocer. I like that.
Did they eat any of some almond RX nuts?
I love that.
While eating at Broken Yoke Cafe.
What about your Chargers, Jim?
They are the beneficiary of a very soft schedule. They also have a coach that knows what he's doing now, and that's like half the battle.
Yeah, it is. Is McCaffrey like done? I don't even know. What was the injury?
PCL.
How old is he?
He's like late 20s. It's over. His season's done. And if he has surgery, he's out 6 to 9 months. So,
And how long's his deal? How long is he there?
I don't know. Doesn't matter. He's done.
He's done.
Over.
Sell the team. Move him to San Diego.
No, San Diego does not deserve that team.
What does that mean?
That means
they deserve a better team?
Yeah. The Niners don't deserve. No.
I mean, I think most people take the Niners. They've been in like 100 Super Bowls that they've lost over the last 100 years.
I mean, it'd be great. It'd be great for me, just right down the street. So it'd be great.
It'd be awesome. Okay, this is nice. Off topic to end it. JD Goucher says USD. Did you see this? They were in the Sweet 16. They were at home.
Lost 1-0.
And they lost. Men's soccer season ends in the third round of the NCAA. Sweet 16. Take a bow, Toreros. They lost to Vermont at home, right? 1-0. That's a good year. That's a really good year. I don't know. Do you know how that played out? I wasn't there.
No.
Quan says move the Jaguars to San Diego. I like that.
They don't have a quarterback now because their quarterback died today.
I know. I saw that. All right. Join us tomorrow. We'll have time to cover it all. 2 to 6, San Diego Sports 760. John and Jim. We'll be with you. Find us on YouTube. Search for John and Jim 760. Find us on the iHeartRadio app. Even if you're not in San Diego or Southern California, we're there. You can podcast us. You can watch us. You can watch it on replay on YouTube. And then, of course, find us on San Diego Sports 760 as well. All the latest Padres news, the latest on Roki Sasaki, baseball winter meetings being a week away. Join us tomorrow from 2 to 6 on San Diego Sports 760. Then, of course, as news breaks, we'll have it for you in the wrap-up show, and we'll have you covered next week as well with the baseball winter meeting. So if you haven't subscribed, now's a perfect time to do it. Year-round content for baseball and Padres fans. If you haven't smashed the like button, please do it. You can follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. I'm on Blue Sky at John Schaefer.
Who cares about Blue Sky?
Dude, Blue Sky's blowing up, man. It's like,
is it Blue Sky or Blue Ski?
I don't know. I kind of like calling it Blue Ski, truthfully. Somehow Darnay is like the most popular person in the world on Blue Ski. Let's see. I texted him or on Instagram. I was like, he responded to something I put. I'm like, dude, you're coming on the show tomorrow. He's like, no, I'm off. That's even more of a reason to come on the show.
He came on the show with me last week while you were gone. And you know what he did, by the way? He came on the show with me while he was on a walk with his wife and his 2
his wife wants to
children.
kill him.
And he was like, yeah, my wife just gave me a look back during the interview and was like, I gotta go.
Dude, so I'm not asking ever again.
Darnay's off limits for a little bit.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's the business, though. The whole point of the business is for your wife to be like mad at you because like all we do is like work.
100%. Like if your wife's not mad at you for doing like a call or on your phone or whatever, then are you even in the industry?
What is this? What is this? Ballpark Pretzel.
4-hour radio show turning into 97.3.
Oh, but he says tuning.
I know. Tuning to 97.3. Okay.
Is this a shot at us? I don't know what the area.
We have 4-hour show now they have a 4-hour show.
Like turning into or like tuning. You can't deal with us for 4 hours. I mean, I don't blame you. Okay. All right. Now there's a conversation about Blue Sky. All right. Join us tomorrow, 2 p.m. San Diego Sports 760. Please subscribe. For Jim, I'm John. This has been the wrap-up show. Peace.